probability of what a pitcher will throw in a given moment, and you can see where the pitcher likes to throw it. That's the red area for Skubal, and the damage zone for the hitters. Carlos Correa got a big damage zone on four seamers, and that is outside the damage zone and outside the strike zone. Correa with a home run in this series, 2 for 8. And now that two-seamer, which is inside.
One thing that's really interesting I'm noticing about the approach right here out of the gate is he's throwing four-seam fastballs away from righties, which isn't as common for left-handed throwers, especially guys who throw really hard, because he wants to set that changeup up. There's a slider away. He's going to keep that soft stuff away. I think that we're going to see a lot of that, but it's going to be interesting to see how often he is using the four seams away and then that sinker in, which is usually the opposite of how guys use them.
Wow, 3-0 swing from Correa.
I like it because he knew, right? It's like that's a really an advantageous count for the hitter. As we saw with that graphic there, he's really struggled with four-seam fastball. So if there's any time you can time it up, it's there. He still swung right through it.
He is really good on changeups this year, Correa. Struggled on four-seamers and sliders. Of course, this is not your ordinary changeup. And there's a two-seamer, 98. Two-seamer away that time, Trevor. So we've seen a two-seamer in, the four-seamer away, and now the two-seamer away. So what now?
I bet you it's a changeup.
It sure was. Sometimes we do have a feeling what's going to happen.
Predict baseball.
4 swings and misses, 2 strikeouts, and 1 glorious first pitch changeup. Kerry Carpenter's 16th home run on a changeup against Chris Paddock. Tarik Skubal's changeup was typically deadly in the first inning. He had 2 strikeouts and a flyout. All the at-bats ending on the changeup. The league's hitting 162 on that pitch, and Willie Castro will try to solve that or one of Skubal's other pitches. The former Tiger gets 97 high after 97 low. Castro 888 OPS on base plus slugging against lefties this year, so he's in the cleanup spot for a Twins team that is about average against both lefties and righties. There's 99.
You know, Castro is a good example of a switch hitter who's a different guy from both sides of the plate. So as a lefty, he stands on top of the plate, one of the closest in all of baseball, just 22 inches off the edge of the plate. And as a righty, 28 inches. As you can see, it gets set down there. And it really makes him 2 different guys to attack from the pitcher's point of view based on which side he's on.
Skubal attacked him with what else? That changeup.
So it's kind of unfair, right? Like we said earlier, he throws a ton of pitches in the zone and he gets the most swing and miss in the zone, but also he gets elite chase rates. Like there's nowhere he can't beat you.
You're going to notice something about him too. Usually guys that throw this hard, they just live at the top of the zone. Mostly he wants to, but he mixes in just enough 5 or 10 fastballs a game, the bottom of the zone. To try to just go down and away, which puts enough doubt in their head where that changeup is just unhittable. So you cannot sit on it.
Ty France trying to do so.
But if there are any weaknesses in Skubal's game, I'm not entirely sure there are. It's the four-seamer to righties. They've been able to really barrel that up. Last year's a 296 slug. This year it's 410. Now it's kind of laughable. We're looking at a 410 slugging and say, oh no, that's bad. But it is up 100 points from last year.
Why do you think that is? Do you have any idea?
Well, it's changed a little bit, but in ways I would say are good. You know, it's throwing it harder. It's got more rise. Like these are good things. I think it's hard to keep up a 296 slugging.
Yeah. So this changeup, it's really good.
It's very,
it's my StatCast analysis.
You see the hot zones there for Ty France on that changeup. Basically, if you locate it, it's not something he likes. And they know that. And all of this is just to set that thing up. Everything he's throwing is just so he can get to it with 2 strikes. And I think the Twins know that. That's why they're trying to get out of their shoes on that first fastball.
Harrison Bader, pitch predictor, says slightly change over four-seamer here. It's the four-seamer. So back-to-back of those. This is interesting. Harrison Bader's grip on the left, looking like Tiger Woods got the golf grip. The interlocked fingers.
He's not the only ball player who does that, but it's pretty rare. I know it's a very common golf thing, but you just don't see that often in majors. Hurts my fingers to look at it, to be totally honest.
There's been a lot of guys that have tried it, but it doesn't stick usually. And turns out the 3 of the first 6 guys of the game have swung at that first pitch, knowing that he's trying to set up the changeup. Unfortunately, I believe he has 4 strikeouts, so it hasn't worked out so far.
And another.
Maybe he has 5 strikeouts.
Wow. He has 5 strikeouts and 6 outs, every single one of them on a changeup.
The thing that's so important is it counts for all pitches. Usually you hear, well, I gave up a 300 average on the four-seamer. That's just the outcome of the at-bat, right? What about the curveball that helped you get to 0-2? Those pitches all have value, and so all those little increments of value add up to a whole.
Yeah, sometimes you see a run value that's not commensurate. Somebody has a low average, low slug on a pitch, and their run value is not great. Maybe they're throwing a lot of balls on that pitch. Maybe batters aren't chasing. Maybe they're chasing Tarik Skubal's changeup, which every Twin has done.
The way I think about that is it allows you to calculate the effect on a game. So the Josh Kalk, the head of analytics for the Twins, once said to me, the currency of baseball is runs. We think about preventing them, and we think about scoring them, and we make it as simple as possible. And so that's why all of the statistics are talked about in terms of runs, because it's not directly causing or preventing a run. It's just the best way to determine value and figure out if a game or if a team is creating or not creating wins, which is what matters.
To wildly oversimplify, win above replacement is considered to be 10 runs of value, and that could be, you can get there in a lot of different ways, right? Pitching, hitting, base running, fielding, whatever. But rough equivalent is 10 runs gets you a win above replacement.
So Tarik Skubal's 3+ wins above replacement or so, and we're not even really into his second half of the season. And there's his first strikeout on anything other than a changeup. So Brooks Lee fouled one away with 2 strikes, and then Skubal goes top shelf 98.
And look for this to happen a lot, especially if that changeup is starting to get guarded against or fouled off, or guys are starting to time it up a little bit. Here comes the high 90s at the top of the zone, and see if you can guard against both. And they start getting on top of that. Here comes the changeup again.
He's thrown 2 first pitch sliders in this inning. Jonah Bride getting his first appearance of the series. High changeup for a strike to Bride. Well below league average hitter.
Yeah, Skubal is at approximately 45% changeups so far tonight, which, when you can throw 100 at the top of the zone and mostly you're seeing changeups, is really, really difficult for a batter.
Pitch predictor here says it could be pretty much anything. And you see the damage zone for Jonah Bride. It's very little red. It's really faint red. He's in there just so the Twins can be all right-handed today. His damage zone on a changeup, in fact, is way off the plate. There's just not a lot of damage, and you can see the location for Skubal, which is pretty much exactly where he's thrown every changeup today.
I'm now dying to know what changeup he hit. That was in the other batter's box.
Oh, man. Yeah. He didn't hit that one. Changeup at 90.
I think it's going to be one of those nights.
Watch the strut.
You said we might see the Skubal strut.
We're going to see the Skubal strut. It's going to get more and more pronounced as we go. That's what I always pay attention when I'm watching. How good is he feeling? How much is he strutting after those strikeouts?
He's struck out, by the way, 6 straight Tigers. I know we're deep in the pitch predictor and numbers sometimes. This is a simple one. 6 straight batters have struck out, or 6 straight Twins should say have struck out.
He's making it hard because every time I want to tell a story, I look up and there's already 2 outs. And that's a big no-no in baseball.
This is the Tigers' first Sunday night home game in 8 years. Not to say Tarik Skubal needed any extra. He typically doesn't. But this is a little extra. 2-0 for Christian Vasquez.
Right there, that's that fastball down. The fastball down. He's not okay doing it. And there's a lot of guys that don't feel comfortable throwing 4 seams to the bottom zone. He does.
Similar spots. It's a little bit closer.
It also helps when you're the hardest throwing left-handed starting pitcher in the game.
Fouled away. He's got a chance for another. What do you think? They've all been on a changeup but one.
It's clearly going to be a changeup against, you know, respectfully a weaker hitter, right?
I would say I'll go 80-20 to changeup, but I think there's a legit chance he just goes back with the 4-seam again.
Maybe he'll mess with us and drop the curveball or something.
The fun part is we don't know, and neither does Christian Vasquez. Not that fun for him. Tarik Skubal has struck out 7 straight Twins. He's 2 away from the American League and Tiger record.